guys again. It's been a little over a year, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I asked Lucina what time or when was the last time, and she said we talked last year. And so like your name's unique, so I remember
a little bit. Yeah, I used to have a athletic director who called me Wainwright because being in St. Louis, Adam Wainwright was popular then, which he still is now. But I always got a kick out of that.
And we Billy knows Adam pretty well, and meet him a time or two, and you never get over the fact that those guys are physical specimens, and especially these like Wainwright and Carpenter. We met those guys, and I mean, they're just
giants.
They're exactly they're like mythical creatures. Like they're so big, and it's like they're not like mere mortals, that kind of thing.
Right. Absolutely. Have you guys had a chance to ever get to play with Adam since I know he's doing the music thing right now?
No, we haven't. I heard about that. Matter of fact, I think he did the national anthem somewhere one time, but it might have been a push. I don't remember, but that's really great. I understand he's terrific, and
that's the one good thing about being a pitcher is you have like multiple days in between your actual work. It's like, right. I know a lot of like golf and all that, but I mean, what I remember when Bernie Williams for the Yankees, and when he was all of a sudden he's playing all of his jazz guitar stuff, and doing amazing at it. And it's like it's pretty dang cool. It's pretty cool that our guys that we look up to for being athletes, have these other means of expression and all that. And I mean, Billy and I were both athletes growing up, and that really is you don't have much time to do anything else. It's
right.
Just you're working at your sport just nonstop. So time to do something else creative, a whole different mind space you got to get into. So I'm all for folks being able to do that.
Well, since the last time we spoke, you guys got a new album out, just dropped August 30th. Tell me a little bit about that, and what went into writing the songs, and what can fans expect from it?
Well, we went into this one as with the concept that this was going to be our rock record. It was. I think it was kind of inspired by Raymond, our live bass player on the last tour, talking about the song that we had, because Raymond's been with us since like 2009 in various capacities. Like he was a guitar tech for a number of years, and then about 2018 or 19, he became our live bass player. And so he talked about this song that we had called Jane Mansfield's Car that we used to play live when we had first written it. And he's like, hey, we should think about playing the song. I always loved it. And he kind of gave us the idea that, hey, we should take that song, write some more songs as kind of a heavier record that more sounds like how we sound live. And so we did that. We recorded about 10 songs that were in the vein, like a more like how we sound live, and recorded those. And then Raymond and Kirk come out because they both live in Florida. We had them fly out and work for a week. And one of the things, so we had all the songs done. We had all 10 songs finished, and the boys were, I believe, flying out. Like we had one more day in the studio. Okay. And so I was like, okay, I got to take a kid to a doctor's appointment, and I'll see you guys in the evening, and we'll do something. thing, we'll hang out, we'll listen to the new record, listen to all the songs and, make sure we got everything. And then you guys will fly out the next morning. Well, Billy said, hey, wait, I've got an idea for a song. So he got Raymond and Kirk with him in the studio, and I showed up in the evening, and they had a whole another song written. And we recorded it all that night. And, it turned out being just like my favorite song on the record because, it's just got a different thing. And, I was kicking myself that I wasn't there that afternoon to be a part of that process. And, I'm super excited. I love this song. We play it live in this tour, and, it's a ton of fun. Super proud that, my boys all, wrote this really great song that, we play every night. And, but at the same time, it's like, dang it, I wish I was on that thing. 'Cause, not that I want to change it at all. I just want to have my name on it along with the record.
Sure. Right. When it comes to writing music for an album, how do you guys decide what tracks go on the album, what tracks maybe don't make the album? Do you sit down and discuss it, or vote on it, or how does that usually work?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we work on that quite a bit.
We're secret ballot.
we're very into sequencing, and so we just, let's say we're going to put 11, 12 songs on the record, and we've got 16 or 18. It's usually pretty obvious which ones belong on a different record. You know what I mean? It's like,
yes.
we don't waste anything. It's like, let's say there are 3 or 4 songs that aren't on this last one we did. They'll go on another record. But maybe we were trying to record them in the style we were doing this record. So we say, you know what? These might work on this album that we're doing that we want to sound more like the '60s. And then we'll go in there and change a few instruments, We'll, as opposed to using a B3 organ, we'll use the Farfisa or the Continental or the Jaguar, one of those, And so we don't throw out the scraps. In other words, we make use of them. Our songwriting process has always been the same. We come up with a melody and a couple of words for a chorus or a verse, and have a concept for a song, and then we hammer it out together. So it's really nice in the studio we have now. It's we've got all of our vintage gear in there. JD's got it wired great, and so it's just a creative place. But we will sit and listen, down to every song for each record, and just say, okay. And then some songs will poke out at you. It's like, that doesn't sound like it belongs on this record. Let's save that somewhere else. And so we're pretty good at it, at sequencing our records. And plus, it means something to us. We're so anal about that stuff that we even sequence our walk-in music at concert. Really do. Matter of fact, I was up with our front of house sound guy Jacob last night, and he was together some more walk-in music, because between the opening act and us there was a little lag, and he had to repeat some songs. So he and I sat out there and sequenced it last night, and so that probably sounds crazy to sequence your walk-in music.
I can understand it. No, the one thing I like when prepping for this, I listened back to some interviews that you guys have done, and the one thing I really enjoy about listening to you guys is you both seem to be kind of historians of music. Do you think that is something that is important to be a good musician, is to have a respect for the history of the music business?
Absolutely. I tell young musicians who talk to me about it, I say there's a couple of things that are important. Is know the history of music, know your history, and never stop being a fan. Because once you stop being a fan of the people who influenced you, if you don't consider that anymore, there's a part of who you are that's going to be missing in your music. reflect that. So I think music history is very important.
Right on. Thinking about that, I was listening to the radio yesterday. I still listen to terrestrial radio. Not, I know many people don't, but I do.
Sure.
And one of the things they brought up was the anniversary of Jimi Hendrix's death. And it kind of just got me thinking, an off-the-wall question. Was there an artist that maybe passed away in your lifetime that really had a profound impact on you, either one of you?
Well, there have been several, I mean, I think one, Duane Allman, and Duane Allman and Frank Zappa, and then recently, John Prine, Warren Zevon a while back, Dusty Hill very recently, and those were all guys who were friends of ours. But yeah, I mean, back in those days when people would die, I would say the one that got to me the most was Duane Allman. Yeah.
Okay. I was listening to an interview you did recently on Breakfast with Vinny, and you were talking about, you had a phrase that you mentioned about being driven to where you are, as opposed to today we are given who we are. And I found that to be really interesting, and it really made me think a lot about, the current music we have that's popular, even film and things like that. They just don't seem to always have that authentic feel. And do you think that is a reason that those seem that way?
Well, I think it's become so commercial. I mean, not that the entertainment business wasn't always. It has been, but there was a time when record labels wouldn't drop a band if their first album or even 2 or 3 albums didn't sell well. These days, the pop stars and the national country people, for instance, all of them, if their first single was a flop, they're done, and next thing you know, they're playing bars. I mean, it's sad. So I think that causes them to want to have a hit instantly. So I think whatever hit is out there, they're just copying that again, right? So in other words, they're writing a different version of the same song all the time. And I think that's where a lot of soul is missing. Is in our time growing up in music, the idea was to be different. We loved the Beatles, we loved the Stones, we loved the Kinks, or whoever it was, Crosby, Stills and Nash, whoever. But we weren't trying to be them. They influenced us, but we wanted a sound of our own. And so, back then we had James Taylor and then Jethro Tull. I mean, it's like, now you don't see it that, things that are that far apart in the same world. To us, it was all rock and roll, right? But there were different sounds within that genre, and now rock and roll is going away. I mean, there aren't rock and roll radio stations that play original music anymore. Now, if you listen to a rock station, if it's a ZZ Top song, it's going to be LaGrange or Legs or something.
Right.
If you hear a Boston song, it's More Than a Feeling. If you hear Foreigner, it's I Want to Know What Love Is. It's like the standard playlist on any rock station are old songs, and these guys are still out there touring, and they have to because they're not selling records and they're on the radio anymore, except their old stuff. And I told someone the other day on an interview that I think it's one of our things out here touring and making these records. We have a pretty good cult following. We'd like to have an even bigger one because we're trying to keep the tradition of rock and roll bands together. And now you don't see bands at the award shows, you see individuals. And the whole point was that camaraderie of a band, and so hopefully, things will turn around, but maybe you can help us out and get a rock and roll radio station started.
Yeah, that would be nice. You mentioned your fans, and one thing that I noticed about your fans is they seem to really follow you guys closely. There's a lot of them who travel to multiple shows, and the online presence that they have with one another, meeting up and You know, these are people that would never have met each other if not for your music. How does that make you guys feel?
Oh, it makes us feel great. We have so many great fans, and they're, you know, all over the world, you know, and you're right. They meet each other.
They do our jobs for them.
Yeah, they do social media for us. But I mean, you know, we have 3 fans who are all named Jess. Three girls named Jess. One's from France, one's from Germany, and one's from the States. And these girls are friends now. They communicate with each other all the time. They put stuff out for the band all the time, and then they talk to our other fans, and they meet other fans here in the U.S., like our fans Bill and Jen from Pennsylvania. They come out. I think they did 16 shows with us last year.
Wow.
Oh, JD just said they're doing 17 with us this year. So it's like, you know, and they've become part of the family, you know, and you know, they end up getting, you know, stuff that only the band and crew guys have. You know, we'll give them like a necklace or a thing that only we wear, or, you know, different things like that. And
sure.
Or a shirt or jacket, you know, and they're great people. And, you know, just like JD said, they actually work for us once they get to be fans. And it's awesome.
I mean, you know, Billy just mentioned, you know, the Jen and Bill.
Right.
And, you know, Jen is a great photographer, and, you know, when I started looking at, you know, what, you know, we can't hire a graphic designer or anything to make merch or, you know, stuff for us for the tour.
Sure.
So, you know, we have to do it ourselves, and it's like, okay, I had an idea. It looks like, let's do a collage of all 5 of them on, you know, for an image this year. And so I started looking for pictures, and, you know, I just called Jen and said, hey, would it be all right if I used some of your pictures for this? And she was like, and, you know, she started crying. You know, she was so happy to help us and be, you know, be a part of the band, essentially. You know, it's, and that, you know, that is so much more meaningful than, you know, being, you know, buying images off of a photographer or having a designer put something together for us. You know, doing kind of everything ourselves, you know, and involving our fans and doing it, you know, just, you know, makes our band bigger. And, you know, it really is a super meaningful, you know, way that, you know, we have with our fans, that it's like, you know, we can count on them to, you know, help us out. And, you know, it's like, I haven't made an original Facebook or, you know, Instagram post in months because, you know, our German Jess basically does our social media for us, you know, for free, you know, and she's posting multiple times a day and, you know, and coordinating with the fans and, you know, making sure that everybody knows everything. I mean, she knows about stuff that long before I do, you know, and it's like, there are things that I'm, you know, like I should only hear from our agent or something. And somehow she's got a pulse that, you know, a finger on this pulse that even before, you know, our agent knows something, you know, that, you know, she's letting us know something has popped up. And it's so helpful, you know, for, you know, just for, you know, us 2 bums, you know, who can barely operate a telephone, you know, having, you know, technological fans who know what they're doing and, you know, can give us a hand, you know, it's invaluable. And, you know, I don't know that we could keep going if we didn't have fans like this.
Awesome. And, you know, that's another thing I found really cool about you, Billy, is when you were in Belleville that day, you actually came off the tour bus. You actually came out and hung out with the fans and signed autographs and took photos. You know, and that's something you don't have to do. But, you know, I thought that was really cool that you took the time to do that.
We're selling signed stuff at our merch table, and I want... I'm just... Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I do sign it for them and hang out with the fans. I like people. And, you know, a lot of people won't do it because they say, oh, they're just selling it anyway. But you know what? They're trying to make a living like everybody else. And,
and also I run into some interesting people out there. I mean,
Sure.
Interesting people who later on we'll see them at other shows. I mean, they become fans of the band, because I was nice to them, and so they start to pay attention. And the next time they come, they're not bringing some kind of picture of me from some magazine article years ago to sign, or a movie poster or something. Next time they come out, they've got a pick guard or a guitar or a picture of the band or a picture of me and JD, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good. And plus, I always looked at fans as the people that put my kids through school,
Yeah.
And I think you owe it to them. I mean, I'm not sure why artists aren't crazy about their fans. That's why they're there.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, no, I appreciate the time, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in Belleville at the Lincoln on October 24th. And one more question. I know you guys are huge sports fans, as we already kind of talked about it earlier on. But with baseball season and regular season wrapping up, what do you guys like to get to the series this year?
Oh, gosh. Who knows? I mean, the Dodgers, JD's a Dodger fan. I'm a Cardinal fan. I know the Cardinals this year. We're in a couple of years of rebuilding here, but the Dodgers, I root for the Dodgers when they're not playing the Cardinals because there's a hometown team for it. But the Dodgers are so good, and yet they'll be the best team in baseball all year. They get to the playoffs and just, wet the bed, and so I want to say that the Dodgers are going to get there, but I just don't know. I mean, it's, hopefully it's not, well, I won't say it, I'd say it if you and I weren't hanging out together. If we're just hanging out together, I'll tell you, but not on the air.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of teams I certainly hope it's not.
Sure. Well, I'm hoping it's the Royals, if they can keep from giving it away, giving their playoff spot away, because they're trying to.
Well, believe me, I mean, the thing about it is that there's so many teams which really makes me happy, teams that normally are not in the conversation that are now. And I think that's really great. And also college football is so nuts this year.
Yes,
I mean, and it's going to be the first year of this 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
And that's another interesting thing we have coming up here, because that's, Notre Dame's already gotten beat in their first game. Everybody thought, oh, they're going to tear people to pieces. It's going to be like the Newt Rockne days, And people are getting beat left and right. Florida State was supposed to be really good this year, and they've already gotten beat by. I think Notre Dame got beat by Northern Illinois, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Yeah,
Notre
Dame's my team.
Oh yeah, and see, I always have like a soft spot for Notre Dame because they're the team of the old day, that tradition, that college football tradition with Newt Rockne and even up to Parsegan and all that stuff, and it's just, I don't know, man. I kind of like to see the top teams stay there for at least half the season before they start getting beat. But hey man, well, what a pleasure to talk to you again.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you guys too, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all on the 24th of October again.
Oh man, we'll see you there.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, take care, fellas. Bye.
All right.
Yeah.